Hello everybody, I'm Hacklebeast, and this is day number 3 of Gambit Cup Finals. Everything is tied up 1-1 in this best of 7 series. Will decide it all. There were some technical issues that the VOD viewers will not see. But basic summary is there was a regame. And really the live viewers didn't catch a whole lot of it because of other unrelated technical issues. But here's what happened. Semi went for a 12 nex. Draw scouted him out last, so he really couldn't do anything to punish it. And Draw went for a fast expo after that. Semi followed up his 12 nex with a 4 gate and just flooded goons. But Draw, assuming that Semi wouldn't have a lot of gateways, went for like a fast Templar Archives along with his fast expansion. So Semi was fighting 4 gate versus 2 gate for a while. He managed to get a lot of probe kills on Draw's natural mineral line and then backed off. But Draw got DTs out and Semi wasn't anywhere near observers, which caused him to not continue the attack. If Draw hadn't gotten DTs out there, he would have lost the game immediately. And then Draw had DTs out on the map, so Semi couldn't move, but he was working his way up to observer tech. And then the disconnect happened. So Semi had the advantage, but it certainly wasn't an insurmountable advantage. Not enough to not justify a regame. And it looks like Semi is once again going to go for the 12 nex. And there's a gateway behind it. Right there we go. Alright. And this time Draw is going to scout it out first, though. So, lucky for him, he's going to be able to react to it in the quote-unquote proper way. However he wants to. I wonder what he's going to do to try to punish it. Gateway done. Cyber core getting very close to completion. Yeah. I don't know. The Draw doesn't typically like to attack 12 nexes in the games I've seen him play against it. He just plays for a little bit later of a game, and he goes for a fast double expand, getting up to 3 bases before his opponent gets up to 3 bases, and that's going to take away the economic lead that Semi would have. And Draw did not build the Zealot, so it looks like he's not going to go for any early pressure this game, at least not immediately. First goon out though, so the probe shouldn't live very long for Semi. Although Draw misses it completely. A little bit of a mistake from him there. Probably just busy microing his own probe, trying to keep it away from the Zealot. Keep it in base as long as possible. Now Semi went for a very fast forge, not going for 2 gateways, just a single one. So he's going to have its cannons up very quickly. Manor Pylon, though, going down. It's going to be a pretty good Manor Pylon. 1 probe is trapped, and 3 probes are actually going all the way around to mine. That's rather successful. And Semi's cutting probes? Okay, there we go. Maybe he's just supply blocked. No, he wasn't supply blocked. I don't know why he wasn't building probes for just a little bit. Anyway, cannons are already going to be out at the front, so... And, ooh, Probe Scout goes in. He sees only a single goon, so he knows he doesn't need the other cannon, and he cancels it. That's nice. But Semi... Huh. Well, Semi did not invest a lot to defend the 12 nex. Just a couple Zealots and a cannon is relatively cheap. So I wonder what his next step is. Goon range on the way. Is he going to go for the same kind of 4-gate build again? Alright. Alright. Well, because he went for the 12 nex, he knows there won't be a lot of gateways out immediately, so he's going to be safe to take an expansion. And it looks like Draw isn't mixing up what he did from last time again, going for a road facility with possibly fast obs behind it, but Semi is going to be different. and he is going to go for a robo facility off of only a single gateway Now throwing down a second one. But similarly timed tech for both players. Draw is ever so slightly ahead, with his expansion significantly behind. He did get up that second gateway faster, but it's not going to be a huge issue. And the goon advantage really is going to help here, because 2 cannons are just too strong against that small number of goons. Draw can try to pressure it, but he's not going to get anything done. It's probably going to cost him a goon if he gets really aggressive there. Oh, observatory going down. And observatory going down. Very fast +1 coming out from Semi here. Draws. Is he getting a forge? No, Draw's not getting a forge yet. So Semi is going to have a an upgrade advantage for this game, at least for the beginning parts of it. And Semi Citadel's done. Ooh, Semi's getting leg speed. And a robo support. Okay, I thought he was going to go for fast Templar tech, but no. He's instead going to go for Reavers and speed lots. Anyway. Looks like Draw is deciding to get aggressive. He has a couple extra goons, but there's that one goon I said that it would cost him if he decided to get aggressive. Does have enough, though, to now focus down some cannons. So he can put a little bit of pressure on Semi here. And might be able to snipe 1 or 2 of these zealots? Can he get the other one? No, he's not going to bother to try to get the other one. So, taking down a zealot and 2 cannons, loses 2 goons. Pretty even trade. But by taking out those cannons, I think the Draw was trying to soften that up to be able to sneak in a DT if Semi wasn't paying attention. He hasn't scouted the observatory yet, so he doesn't know that Semi is on obs tech. And if he had been able to do something a little bit sneaky there and take out the cannons, Semi makes a mistake and doesn't rebuild them, might have been able to slip something in. But no, not only are they being rebuilt, but obs are out. No, dead even supply. Semi with the upgrade advantage, and with both players with diverging tech. Draw going for Templar, Semi going for Reavers. And the first Reaver is out. No shuttle on the way though, so it looks like he wants to play a little bit more defensive with his Reaver. Possibly gearing up to take a third. This is a map that's pretty easy to take a third base on in PvP. And Draw's not going to go for Dark Templar, he's going to go for High Templar instead. Storm on the way. Storm is in fact on the way. Alright. Well, if Draw goes with a pure Goon and Storm army, it actually might not be very effective versus Speedlots, just because the Speedlots can be very difficult to actually take out with Storm, and clearly Goons are not good versus them. But if Draw comes in with a couple of Archons, and Draw is a player who really likes Archons in this matchup, the Archons can really chew through Speedlots very quickly. Double Forge for Draw, getting the 1-1, trying to catch up to upgrades. Semi has one already done, and no, he did not start. Excuse me, did not start armor upgrade. So Draw will take back the will take in the upgrade advantage if Semi doesn't respond to that. And is Draw going to expand? Looks like he's gearing up for it. A couple of pylons going down at the corners here. Meanwhile, Semi has pylons at his corners, so he is gearing up for an expansion as well. Both players satisfied. Oh, nice pull back on the observer there. No need to just throw that away. And he saw the observer out for Draw and knew he needed to pull it back. There we go, there are a couple Archons. That splash damage is going to be very effective against the Speedlots when the time for that engagement happens. But here comes Semi with Reavers, and when the armies are about this size, Reavers can be more effective than Storm. Not to mention that Semi's army just looks a bit bigger. 120 compared to 114. And here it comes. The speedlots can be able to close pretty quickly. The speedlots really negate that high ground advantage just because they push the Dragoons back so fast. Storm's going down, but as I said, it can be pretty hard to get off good storms, and those were not the best of them. The Archons are not in the engagement yet. Finally, the Archon's coming up, but Semi's already made a great push here into the base, and now Draw's Natural is once again going to be under attack. The Reavers are not brought in, and there's actually a Dark Templar, but no Observer for Semi. So that Dark Templar might be able to do something here. The Archon's doing a lot of damage, taking out a lot of the Zealots, but they're not going to be able to deal with the Reavers, and that's the bigger issue here. The Reaver's trying to be sniped by the Dark Templar. I don't know if he realizes that the Dark Templar's there, because he is not dealing with it. Now he does. He's just picking up the Reavers and realizes he can't do any more damage with them. But Semi's already done a lot, and he needs to pick up the Reaver. No, allowing the Dark Templar to get a Reaver kill, that's good for Draw. But his Natural is taking a lot of damage here, and finally the Dark Templar goes down, so the Reaver is safe to drop and do more damage here. Oh, but gets it with a Storm. Only Dragoons are left, but Dragoons might be enough, as he looks like he's going to be able to take out these bases. +1 is unpowered. Is he going to be able to at least finish the weapons +1? Yes, he does in fact finish weapons +1. And Draw has speedlots of his own, so Semi needs to micro a little bit here to try to keep his Dragoons alive as long as possible, waiting for more reinforcements to come in, a bunch more goons. And both players on even upgrades with 1-1. I don't think Draw realizes that that's unpowered. Missing out on that +1 armor that's almost finished is going to be quite a pain for him. Oh, looks like he's going to lose another Archon. So Semi doing a lot of damage in this attack. He did unfortunately lose his Reavers, which are quite costly, but he's just keeping on the aggression with these Dragoons and pushing in once again. A good storm going down. Semi not dodging at all means he's going to take a lot of damage here. And Draw is going to engage once again, pulling the probes to try to attack. That's a last-ditch effort. If he doesn't take out these Dragoons here, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage to his probes. Looks like the probes are trying to transfer through towards the other base to get a better drill off. But no, it's not working. Semi's doing a good job of keeping his Dragoons far enough away. Oh, probe's going down. +1 armor is going to finish. Finally, but +1 armor is not going to be enough, and now there's another Reaver in here, and unless he can get off some miraculous storms, he doesn't have any energy. It's not going to be enough. Draw, GG's. Semi's going to take game 1 for Team GT. Alright, so, who are we going to see next? I don't know. I am waiting for them to reveal draws. Apparently Draw miscounted something. I'm not sure what he was counting there. Maybe he miscounted the number of speedlots there were with his Observer. Yeah, the Archons being in the Nat didn't really help at all. Ace versus True Touch. Is that a rematch? Ace played Michael day 2. Did he play True? I think he did play True Touch day 1. So A5, 5. I keep jumping the gun on that. Right, A5, 5. Alright, so, technical difficulties free. Oh, they didn't host an OBS map. Darn. Alright. That's fine. I'm gonna play a game of hide the command center. The only thing that really matters is that I won't be able to. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to select their Mutalisks, since I'm technically their opponent and not just an OBS. Alright. Good luck, have fun. My typing looks really slow because I have to do it with one hand. Oh. Oh. That's probably not the best place to hide the command center. Hide it on this side. I do not have my command center hiding build orders down. I'm just kind of guessing. It's a ZVZ. I really don't need to hide it at all because it's like they're not going to expand here, but orders received. Roger that. I read you. I'm gonna try to get them to kill each other. Right away, sir. Affirmative. Did I get it timed right? Damn. Okay, that didn't work. Yes, sir. Alright. So, in the bottom right, we have True Touch. True Touch. And he is the purple Zerg. I still get their APM. That's cool. He's purple Zerg. And we have Ace as the orange Zerg going for a 9 pool. Alright. Okay. Well, 9 pool not going to work out for Ace as True Touch has thrown down his 12 pool. So Lings will be out in time to defend what we presume will be an expansion. It should be safe for him to take an expansion. He could go for an in-base hatch, but that's significantly more uncommon. And here come True Touch's Lings. Is it going to be 9 pool speed? He did get an early gas, so would not be surprising. So it was 600 APM for a second, then immediately fell to 400. Yep, it is going to be for speed. Okay, so 9 pool speed. That fast speed is going to help him try, even with True Touch's moderately timed spawning pool. The early speed means that he's still going to have an advantage, albeit a small one, over the Lings, and it's going to make it that he might not be able to micro. Getting messages from people. Somebody wants me to change that last one to a Z. Alright. So, Speedling's coming in. Oh, I am in obs mode. Alright, cool. So, 10 Lings coming in for Ace. He is going to outnumber True Touch here. So True Touch is going to be forced back a little bit here. If Ace plays it right, he can do a lot of damage to this hatchery. And it's going to force True Touch to get into engagements that he really doesn't want to. Pulling 3 drones to try to help himself out here. Ace has a lot of Lings here, and that speed is really going to help Hatchery, already a quarter of the way down on health. Lost about 350. And the Lings are coming in again, still trying to wail away on the Hatchery just a little bit. But True Touch has equalized his Ling numbers. And oh, run by Ace into the main. Trying to pick up some kills here. He doesn't have any yet. Oh, gets the 1 kill. Very nice. Trying to get something out of these early Lings, and now darting in once again, getting a pretty good angle if he had wanted to go after the hatchery, but no, it wasn't quite the angle he was looking for, and backs off. Still rallying in more Lings and more Lings as he does have a lair. Okay, I was wondering if he just wasn't going to go up to Spire, but no, Spire's on the way. Or, excuse me, lair's done, and Spire's on the way. True Touch, though, does not have... No, his Spire isn't started. He has no money for it. And now he doesn't. Huh. Okay, so True Touch is going to delay his Spire by a lot. And I guess he's going to go for an Evolution Chamber. He's going to have to, as the Spire already more than halfway done for Ace. Even if he had started his Spire, then it wouldn't be enough. Ace is hiding a couple lings up here, just enough to try to go for a backstab after he sees all of True Touch's lings leave, and that's what he was looking for. Going to wait a little bit longer than send them in. He has an Overlord in position to see that, and now he needs to defend his ramp, but he's going to have to defend his ramp against a lot of lings. It's so many coming out from True Touch here. And it's a really nice arc for Ace, but a really nice arc does not overcome this many... Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does, because Ace is actually winning this battle a lot. True Touch not microing it at all. No. Finally, Ace goes down. A lot of those lings in the front were injured, so a constant stream of fresh lings for True Touch was just too much. And Ace now in a lot of trouble here, as there are so many lings in his base. He's trying to micro his lings back and forth. Ace was undefeated in this series, winning his first 2 matches, but it looks like he might not be able to win this one. A lot of the lings are going down, but all of the drones have gone down. Ace with 4 Mutalisks to his name, and that is it. He does technically have enough for 1 more drone, but he needs to send his Mutalisks now and hope that his opponent does not have a Spore Colony, but he does. Oh man, and unless Ace can kill absolutely all of the drones, he really does not have a hope. 50 minerals, so he does have enough for a drone, but obviously can't make it now. That lair is getting dangerously close. It looks like he's going to lose the lair. Did he not? He's had to have seen the Spore Colony because the Overlord got hit, and he's going to try to focus it down. That's the only thing he can do left in this. Microing back one of the injured Mutalisks to try to keep it alive a little bit longer. True Touch microing the Spore Colony and focusing down the injured one. He's going to try to take it down. He's going to try, but it's not going to work. He's not going to work, and he GG's 100 hit points away from elimination. True Touch taking game number 2. Water. So, who's next? Who's next? We still have majority of good players left. I have not seen Sasiki though. He's not in the channel. Uh-oh. Where's Zeki? Zeki would be a good player to have. Actually, why is everybody so quiet? That's just like a weird, awkward pause. I guess everybody's like watching the stream, and they're just like weren't in chat because I guess they weren't expecting the game to finish off quickly. All right, so we are waiting for the players for game number 3, which should be coming out any time now. They're probably whispering AWA as I speak, but GT has taken a 2-0 lead, and is that the first 2-0 lead? I think that's like the first 2-game advantage we've had in this best of 3 series, because all the other ones were back and forth, 1 game, 1 game, 1 game, 1 game, and sometimes you get 2 in a row, but it was 2 in a row to go from a 1 deficit to a 1 advantage. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest advantage either team has had, and Sass doesn't have Zeki yet. Still waiting for somebody to say players, right? All right. So who do we have left? We have Snitzel. We have South Park. We have Jumper. We have Michael. And that's 4 for GT. I don't think they have. Do they have anybody else? They don't have anybody else anyway. So yeah. So they still have 4 very talented players left. Sass has Lockdog, Sass has Zaraki, and then managers. Zimp, Ghost, Pez. I think one of them's not a manager, but alright. Skyline versus Jumper. 1-3-6-1. 6, 1. And it's an Oz version. Nice. Alright. So, GT Jumper. I assume he's happy that he got the only Terran in the playoff. And Skizlime. Alright. Just waiting on him now. Our Terran friend for the PVZ on La Mancha. Alright. I would have a conversation with the chat now, but it'd be a pretty awkward conversation, as it'd be like 30-second delay either way. Where's Skizlime? Oh, there we go. Just as I was about to whisper him. Alright. Alright, gonna be good. PVT on La Mancha. So, top left we have Jumper. Jumper's the blue Protoss. Bottom left we have Skizlime. Skizlime will be the orange Terran. Alright. So, Jumper, obviously a really good Protoss player. One of the best foreign Protosses. Top 5? Top 5? I feel pretty confident saying top 5 of foreign Protosses. Because there's some other good ones, but he's right up there with them. On the other side we have Skizlime, who isn't quite up to the caliber of a lot of the other people we'll be seeing today, but he's had a great showing for SAS so far in Gambit Cup, beating a lot of people who we didn't necessarily expect him to win against. So, hopefully he builds an eBay. That would be a really good building to have. Then turrets, like really the turrets, but eBays generally help with the turret construction. Anyway, Jumper scouting in the wrong direction, and Skizlime will be scouting in the correct direction. Alright. He won't find anything too spectacular though. Assimilator going down, Jumper gonna go for Dragoon first. He will see whether Jumper is gonna go for Zealot first though, or whether he will just wait and get the Dragoon as his first unit. If he gets a Zealot first, it's an indication that he's gonna be a little bit more aggressive, cause Skizlime to build a couple extra Marines possibly. But now it looks like he won't be getting the Zealot, and he'll see that a lack of anything attacking SCB. Good indication of that. And Jumper scouts out the Bane, and then given how quickly Skizlime's SCB got there, he'll know to scout cross. Okay. La Mancha is a pretty good map for Terran, in my opinion. There are just so many chokes on this map. Specifically on these bases. These bases have tight chokes on either side, in the same way Fighting Spirit does. But unlike Fighting Spirit, the center is a lot more contained, and the high ground ridges tend to help out Terran more than they do Protoss. So in Pro League, we saw a lot more Terrans used on this map than some of the other ones. think it's generally strong. Anyway, Skizlime going for factory first. Most likely gonna be Siege Expand. We'd have to assume so. I'd be really surprised if he got super aggressive here. He still does have the SCV alive though. Huh, and Jumper did not build a Dragoon. He actually is going to get a Nexus before building any units. Interesting. Just going to delay that really long, not going to go for the standard Protoss attack. Skylime hasn't scouted it out yet, but he should know that something's weird, that there isn't a Dragoon out yet. Probably should come down and scout this out. Skizline's FD push is now just going to be that much stronger. Because Jumper's delaying the Dragoon production, it means that he's going to have a relatively small number, and they're not going to be on the other side of the map. So Jumper's going to have to micro the Dragoons very, very well to not die. It certainly helps keeping that SCV alive, still getting scouting information, and still distracting Jumper's goon. Finally gets taken out. But I think that this could be very strong. As long as Skylime does a good job, does not let his tank get sniped, he's going to be attacking with a pretty strong force. 6 Marines, SCV, and a tank. He's going DT drop. Alright. We don't see the Robo or the Citadel or the Templar Archives or the DTs, but he's going DT drop. Was that some kind of... Oh, what? What? Oh, Skylime! Skylime making a huge mistake. His Marines went one way and his tank went the other way, and the tank ran into 2 goons. But Jumper didn't pursue it. Oh, wow. Skylime both horribly unlucky and yet terribly lucky at the same time. Holy wow. But that's going to stop the FD push. He's just not going to go for it anymore. Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow, he's really lucky. Because Jumper only had 3 Dragoons out at that time. The two more would have come down. But given the vultures with mines that had come out, given the number of Marines in the tank, he could have done damage. Skylime had a good opportunity to do damage. No more mines left, and vultures won't be able to sneak in to get any probe kills. Man, that I don't know, man. It's just like we were unsure whether the bridge could support the weight of a siege tank, so we're just gonna have it go around instead. Make sure it doesn't fall into the tarry black muck. I don't even know what liquid that's supposed to be. I mean, the dinosaur bones seem to indicate it's tar, but who knows? Could be chocolate pudding. Chocolate pudding, the only other black liquid I could think of other than tar. Oil would probably be a better black liquid. You'd think if it was oil, somebody would have drained it already. So, starport on the way for Skylime. So, we'll be seeing a little bit of drop action from him. Vulture speed on the way. Should be getting some vultures out here. And he has 2. Gonna need a couple more, obviously, to make the full drop. And because he's not sending them out, I assume that means it is going to be at least in part vulture drop. He also could drop tanks. This map does not have a cliffable natural, though. So tank drop's a little bit less effective. Jumper still is not going for DT drops. It's worth pointing out that that was in fact a ruse, and that he was not doing any kind of delayed shenanigans. That'd be pretty epic though. If Jumper said he's going DT drops and then doesn't DT drop, but he does later in the game. Like when Skyline's least expecting it. Dropship on the way. Armory as well. Gonna start those nice Terran upgrades. Ugh. Huh. The last time I casted a jumper PVT, it was also on this map. I do believe. And I remember it because it was a game where Jumper ran into a lot of mines. Maybe it wasn't this map. But definitely the last Jumper PVT I casted, it was a game where Jumper ran into a lot of mines. And he played the game near perfectly, except for how many mines he ran into. So hopefully he won't run into so many this time. Okay. He was kind of doing drags with the zealots there, but it was drags that splashed the dragoons too. So it didn't quite look as pretty, but it was only shield damage. So I guess it won't matter. Drop going down. But dragoons already there to clean it up. Really he's not going to get many kills here. And Jumper's not even going to bother to pull away the probes. Looks like he is just going to sacrifice the vultures. Tank gets out of there though. Meanwhile, vulture harass going in on this base. Not a lot here for them to attack though. The few probes that had transferred over have already been taken out. And he's preparing an expansion. Although that's a little bit weird of a place to be throwing down a command center. Unless he's going to expand away from the Protoss? This is a much more secure base. So surprised he didn't build the command center here and float it out. If he's going to float it out from here, it's just going to be a much longer distance. But if he's floating it over in this direction, that's a harder base to defend. At least for Terran. Alright. Anyway, more Vultures going out. All of them are filled with mines. We'll have to see. Obviously, if he's able to lay those effectively, you don't want to let your vultures die still with mines in tow. And a double tank drop is it's going to be pretty strong here. Jumper does not have a huge force here, does not have speed for the zealots, doesn't even have a shuttle, so these tanks being put in this position are actually going to be pretty annoying to have to deal with. Dragoons coming up now, but they are going to get killed very quickly. 3 of the tanks siege up, one of them does not. It's actually going to be microed around a little bit, trying to avoid zealot hits, but not enough stuff to help out the siege tank. Jumper actually had a pretty good force there. Going to be able to take out a lot of dragoons though. So it wasn't a complete waste, but a better trade for Jumper than it was for Skyline. Anyway, +1 halfway done. Yeah, but that is +1. And it was to go expand over here. The reason that this one's harder to... mistake on Skyline's part. This dropship gets caught. I'm going to lose some vultures there. The reason this one's harder to take is because this pathway, not only is it pretty far away from wherever your Terran units are going to be, but this is actually a bigger choke to work through than this bridge. And it's the same bridge that Jumper would have to be crossing on this side. And as Terran, you're going to be pushing up in this direction anyway. So normally that's a much better expansion to take, even though it's counterintuitive because it's closer to the Protoss. Hopefully Skyline can keep his map sense up and know generally where the Protoss is, so he doesn't run into a problem where Protoss is attacking over that regard. And mineheads. Oh, Jumper! Jumper! Get observers! That's a shame. Oh, there's some observers. Okay. That's bad. Don't do that. First Arbiter on the way. It's about halfway done. Jumper's actually getting really aggressive with a pre-Arbiter army, which is very odd. Normally Protoss just wants to not engage as much as possible until that first Arbiter comes out, because the army gets so much stronger, and if you throw it all away, then you don't have an army to assist your Arbiter. It's just a lone Arbiter. So, kind of surprising it's so far forward here, and it looks like Terran's going to try to get an engagement on it. It should probably back up. I don't think he wants to engage Terran army. Science Vessel sees it, but I really doubt EMP is done this early. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I love Observer Mode. I can actually see whether upgrades are done or not. Anyway, here comes the army, and nope. Not gonna take a mine hit there. But there's no observer, so if he does engage, those mines are gonna do a lot of damage. But no, gonna back off. Or at least sidestep it. More mines? More mines? No, I don't know where his army's going. Dragoon comes down and sees this expansion, but not a huge issue that Terran's taking a pretty fast third, as Jumper is already taking a fourth and a fifth. As long as he can keep those secure, it's okay to let the Terran be on 3 bases. And here comes the attack now down on its base. Jumper's going to try to defend it, but they're going to get a little bit stuck on the ramp here, so not his entire army's going to be able to get through. And Protoss is actually going to be a really good position to defend. And this is why this expansion is harder to take. That's another reason why that bridge is an issue. Not only is it just not something you're inflicting on your opponent, it's a choke you're inflicting on yourself. Command Center lifts off and is floating away. And some of the SCVs are going to go down. But overall, both the armies are staying intact. Unfortunately, these vultures are getting so far away from the tanks that the tanks are not actually supporting them. And he lost a good deal of them. Not going to float his command center all the way home, just keeping it in this corner here. And Jumper can back off without taking any casualties, or at least no serious casualties. Oh, but if he goes across this bridge, oh, is it... Skyline's moving back, and actually this is going to work out. I thought it was going to be horrible for him. But because the siege tanks are now in a different position, he can push in that direction. Command Center floated a little bit farther away. Jumper could have been shooting at it, but didn't quite realize it was still there. And, oh, mine hits are going to do some damage on the vultures at least. And he's going to mine drag into the tanks. Oh, no, not going to quite mine drag into the tanks. Now Jumper needs to pull back because there are too many siege tanks there. And Skyline setting up a hidden expansion. Yeah, setting up a hidden expansion over there. There's no way he can defend it. Just going to hope that Jumper doesn't notice it. And this expansion is going down here, but his army's not quite in the best position to defend it at the moment. So this Dragoon's going to be annoying. Throughout that engagement, though, no Arbiter. Just keeping his Arbiter at home instead. Stasis is done. An Arbiter would have been nice to have in that battle. Alright. Well, siege tanks come and clear out that goon. Command Center was not slowed down. And apparently Skyline's SCVs were blocking the Command Center, so they couldn't quite, didn't land it, and the SCVs are going to go home real quickly and come back. Another Arbiter out for Jumper, so now he has 2. Well, looks like Skyline's ready to make his first aggressive statement of the game, really, beyond those drops. And he is getting in. He's going to be able to take a really nice position here. He's going to get very close to having that high ground. He's close enough that he essentially has the high ground, as the vultures aren't going to take too much damage from the dragoons. And the huge stasis hitting 8 tanks and the science vessel is going to put a real damper on Skyline's push here. His Jumper still doesn't really have enough to engage it, but it's certainly going to slow him down, forces so he can't move. And now High Templar out for Jumper. No Storm yet. How much longer till Storm is done? Storm about halfway done, so he needs to wait just a little bit longer before he can start using that. But Skyline, he's getting dangerously close to 200 with the 2-1 upgrades. Jumper only at 1-0 and not that much farther ahead in supply. Hungarian internet. Hungarian internet. Come on, Nation of Hungary. Give Skyline all your internet powers. Oh god, having flashbacks. I don't know if I can save. Oh. No, I can't save. Alright. Hopefully Hungary has solved its internet crisis. It appears it has at the moment. Jumper's now essentially maxed, but maxed with no upgrades. He's gonna have to rely a lot on his spells. It's a good number of High Templar there. Science Vessel getting dangerously close. Has enough energy for an EMP, but did not research EMP. Is he at least researching it now? Yeah, okay. EMP's almost done. So landing a nice EMP is going to make this army very weak for Jumper. Oh, that was a Spider Mine on a High Templar hit. Less than good. Oh, trying to snipe the Science Vessel, but no. Going to cost him a couple of goons. Doesn't quite get it. Gets pretty close, though. Loses an Observer. And now Skylime's just slowly but surely creeping his way forward. And here comes Jumper's attack now. Arbiters are coming in. The High Templars are a little bit lagging behind. I don't know if they're going to find the storm that they need here. EMP down on the Arbiter and Stasis on the Zealots. That... oh man, he whiffed the Stasis hard, only getting a single Vulture, but getting 5 of his own Zealots. And yeah, Jumper's army's really weak if he did not get off good spells there. And he did not get off good spells and it just melted. Skylime taking little to no damage and losing an Arbiter at the very end. This base has been scouted out. Jumper with a DT shutting it down. And it looks like Jumper's going to try to take an expansion over in this corner as well. But he has bigger issues right now and Skylime is still creeping his way forward. This Stasis is going to come undone and it's actually going to do a lot of damage. Okay, could have done more damage. He killed his own siege tank, but that was just one. Damage to another. And no Science Vessel means that that's going to be a little bit annoying, but the Arbiter goes down, so they're all revealed. And now the rest of this army is going to be killed off pretty quickly. There are a lot of siege tanks here. Jumper needs to back up, and he does. And now he can actually start to put a little bit of aggression onto this base without a good way of Jumper to defending it. Ouch. And Skylime, this base is completely secure given the position of his army. There's not a good way for Jumper to attack that, really. I guess he could slip down here, but that would leave himself very vulnerable. Jumper trying to take the Sin expansion here, but Hidden expansion isn't what he needs right now. He's pretty good on bases. He really just needs to figure out a way to crush this army of Skylimes. Is he still getting upgrades? I feel that's a pretty big deficit for him. I'm not sure. Don't have time to go find... Yes, he is still getting upgrades. 211. Okay. So now it's a reasonably upgraded army. It's certainly going to help. But no Goliath, no Science Vessel for Skylime. Means that this Arbiter is very, very powerful. Skylime's just going to have to be very, very careful with scans. Looks like some Dragoons did slip down and take out this base. Nice move by Jumper there, realizing he had just a little bit of an opportunity. But it's given Skylime a window to get even closer. There are a few units here, but unsieged siege tanks are going to be able to take them all out. And Jumper's the stranglehold of Terran Mech is slowly but surely working its way in, and Jumper needs to figure out a way to break it, and fast, before it's too late. Oh man, it's just so much metal. It's just so much metal. The Nexus has gone down. Some of these probes are going to be killed on the retreat as they transfer over to another base. Hopefully Jumper doesn't have the mine back over here, and he actually clicks some of them over. It looks like the observatory is going to go down as he starts to whittle away at this wall. Jumper does not have the huge number of gateways that Protoss likes to have at a different base. It's just going to be 4, meaning that the majority of his production facilities are just going to be bottlenecked by a very scary Terran contain. Actually bringing up turrets to provide some detection, so at least he has some defense against the Arbiters. And is Skylime still getting upgrades? Yes, he is. 3-2, getting very close. And that's going to make it so much harder for Jumper to break out. Some Zealots just coming in to do mine drags. Do manage to get a couple siege tanks, but I don't think that was mines helping him out. I think that was just siege tank fire. So a little bit of damage done, but not enough. Jumper's supply falling quickly from max to just 150. While Skylime's staying relatively in the same place. He was at 160. It's fallen a little bit from there. And now he can put an attack on this base, knowing that Jumpers doesn't have too much defense here. He does have these gateways. It's not too much, and the Vulture's going to be able to take out the Zealots pretty easily. Siege Tank is going to go down, though. And Jumper's actually lost a lot of pylons here. Is he close to being supply blocked? No. Jumper built a lot of pylons. But it looks like he is slowly but surely working his way through this contain, as there isn't that strong anymore. Most Skylink units have moved out, and Jumper is going to push out, so he will break through here. This kind of a hollow shell of a contain, just the last remnants of what Skylime left over. But Skylime's reestablished this base. He's mining it. He will probably come up here and start mining that base any time now. And Jumper's going to be the one who's actually running out of economy. He has this base, which could go down at any moment. He has this base, which isn't mining and could go down at any moment. And he has this base, which is literally being sieged now. Oh, man. There's a little bit of an attack coming back behind from Jumper, but it's just Zealots and Dragoons. It's not going to be enough alone. Both players getting up to the very high end of upgrades, 3-2 for each, with 2 shield for Jumper. Jumper does have he has a lot of gas, but that doesn't help him here. Minerals are more important in this situation. Okay, gonna get some storms off at least. Almost kills a science vessel, kills off a siege tank. The surprise there are not more arbiters out for Jumper, given how much gas he has. And he's just not making them. I think that's a mistake. There are 2 arbiters here he's not using. That's really a mistake. Anyway, Vulture's now in the base. This is almost certainly going to fall. And Skylime may pull yet another upset in Gambit Cup. One of many he's had so far. He's a very talented Terran player, severely underrated. But Jumper's hidden expansion being sieged down, he certainly knows about it. This base was being sieged down, but it looks like Jumper barely able to keep it alive for now, trying to re-expand to this natural. This is Jumper's really, that's his healthiest mining base, with, what, 6 probes mining? Not counting those 2 idle ones. Oh, Jumper's gonna run into mines. Jumper's gonna run into mines. So, that next is going to be taken out again. Yet more Zealots to come up and attack the Zealots here. Storm going down, but it actually misses most of the tanks. Storm again. Storms are softening them up, but it's not enough. Not enough. Finally getting those 2 arbiters that he had just sitting there to reunite with this 3rd arbiter. But 3 arbiters aren't going to cut it here. This Nexus has been taken down once again, and now siege tanks again taking out the gateways. Jumper under 100 supply. Skylime still maintaining right around that same 140 to 160 mark. In this base, that pylon's the only thing powering these gateways, so the gateways are now unpowered. Stasis. Oh, the triple Archon recall. That's one way of using your gas. The triple Archon recall. But this base has been taken out. Vultures are now attacking the natural. Looks like they're going to pick up a lot of probe kills here. Dragoon dies to mines. Oh, Jumper. Oh, Jumper. These Archons are totally gonna fuck up that science vessel as soon as it comes out of stasis. Boom. Got that one at least. But, so, 2 mining bases. 2 mining bases for Protoss compared to 1 newly established, 3 mining bases for Terran. And Terran with this nice supply lead, about 60 at this point. It's going to be a little bit sticky, like trying to attack because Jumper does still have a good amount of gas, so he can keep making those high Templars and Archons, meaning that it's going to be a little bit difficult to attack up. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Skyline to attack up the ramp, but Jumper at the same time can't do any damage to Skyline, and Skyline isn't, his lead isn't shrinking at this point. You rebuilt the pylon, but you didn't put the pylon close enough. This gateway's still unpowered. Oh. Skyline really should be taking out this base, though. I don't know if he realizes it's there, but that one's a really easy one to take out. He's had a little bit of trouble taking out the either of these two mains, but certainly this one's vulnerable. Well, if he didn't know about it before, he knows about it now. And yeah, that's a lot for a Dragoon and 2 cannons to deal with. It's gonna go down. Oh man, Jumper with a little bit of attack from behind. The Templars could get off some nice storms, but actually these tanks are pretty spread out, so it's gonna be hard for them to find anything to hit. Jumper's attempt to save this base is not going to work out. He will be losing that base as well, leaving him with just a single mining base. Still very few Goliaths. Oh! It's a recall! It's a very small recall. But the recall's gonna be enough to save the base, because they focused on the cannons first instead of actually attacking the Nexus. So momentarily it's gonna be safe. I mean, he's sending a bigger force to go deal with it now, so. More cannons coming in, but those cannons aren't going to finish, not to mention siege tanks, known to be rather effective versus cannons. It's a general rule. Most of the probes are dead anyway. So, again, Jumper on 1 mining base. He actually isn't going to have that huge reservoir of gas for much longer, as he's mining 1 geyser, and this is another depleted one, but that's it. Alright, that base is finally taken out. Small coalition of Arbiter, High Templar, Zealot, Observer, 2 Dragoon. Trying to do something, anything, but really there's not much that can be done. GG from Jumper. And Skyline is going to be the first player to put SAS on the board, keeping it close 1-2 now. Alright. So. Hey! Look who's here! Okay, good. The overlay isn't covering it. It's Zeke. Zeke's here. It's fine, guys. It's fine. He showed up. He will get SAS 5 wins. He's only allowed to play twice, but he'll get SAS 5 wins. Alright. Some congratulations coming in from Skyline. Played a great game. He really did very little wrong. I'd have a hard time pointing out an issue. It's like, boom, at that point you made a mistake. It was like, it was solid play. Oh, except for that tank thing in the beginning. That one was bad. But other than that, like, everything else was fine. Lockdog versus South Park? Alright. Alright, Lockdog versus South Park. Good stuff. I'm looking for Lockdog. I don't see Lockdog's name. I guess he already made it. Indeed he did. Alright. So, SAS Lock Dog, the Dash, GT's South Park. And now we're just waiting for him. South Park's been really good. South Park's been really good. Can Lock Dog figure out how to hold off a Speedling bust? Let's find out. In the bottom left, we have GT South Park, undefeated in playoff play. Has had very strong records all Gambit Cup season long. And in the top right, we have Sass Lockdog. Where's Teal? There's Teal. Teal Protoss. So, South Park really good with Speedling busts. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the other player has Storm. Doesn't matter if it's only 2 minutes into the game. It's just like Speedling bust. And it works. So, we'll have to see if Lockdog properly walls. This is a map where it's kind of easy to mess up the wall if you're not sure what you're doing. And then if a normal wall is good enough. Because we've seen plenty of players do a very solid wall against South Park, and then it doesn't work because he's South Park and has magical zergling abilities. So, Lockdog's going to get the scout off, and he's going to see what exactly South Park's going to go for. South Park going to go for the 12 pool, though. Or, excuse me, the 12 hatch. Most of his games is a 9 pool, but the only other build he ever does is a 12 hatch. So, not going to be the super early style of Ling Bust. I keep saying that. In saying that, like, diminishes his value of a player. And I feel slightly bad about doing that because he's a solid player in his own regard, but it's just what he does. He's not completely reliant on, though. He could be doing something else. He could, like, play a normal Hydraless game. Match point's a pretty good map for aggression, though. Just really any type of Zerg aggression. Anyway, how's he gonna wall this? Gateway here? Yeah, gateway here. Okay. So gateway here and then cannons here. The cannons aren't really very well protected, I guess. But if you put them on opposite sides here, they'll both really work. They'll work well. Alright. So, gas on the way for South Park. Nothing too extraordinary. Gonna take a third base. Going to take it at the very far away location. Top left. Thirds are really awkward on this map. Just expanding is pretty awkward for Zerg on this map. Just because the third up here is so far away, not only from your own base, but from the battle, really. And you don't get the added benefit of it defending anything, and there's not only one choke like the faraway third would be on another map, so it's less desirable than on a bunch of other maps. At the same time, though, if you go for this one, it's even more exposed, and there's a downward ramp, and it's a mineral only, that only has 6 patches, so it can just kind of make you feel icky as Zerg. like, neither of them are good. It's just one of them is less terrible. Yeah. So, oh, there's a Stargate for Lockdog. He's not getting, he's not getting +1 immediately, but instead going for immediate Citadel. So if he is going for the kind of speed lot attack that that Lockdog is a fan of, then it's going to be slightly on the delayed side. But this is actually a pretty typical strategy for Lockdog to do. Getting the earlier Citadel, and then it gets a little bit later +1, but makes up for it with having a lot more speed lots than the normal timing. So Zergs will have enough to have defended the +1 attack when there were only 7 Zealots, but it's not enough for when they're 10 Zealots, and despite the fact that he had more time to defend, really didn't change much. Anyway, Spire and Hatchery number 4 on the way for South Park. Yeah, the Hydros Den here, or Evolution Chamber here, and then Sunken Colony behind it. It's gonna make a pretty strong Sim City. Yeah, there we go. Evolution Chamber right there. And first Corsair out, going to pick off the close Overlord. There is one more over here, but in a little bit of an awkward position. Lockdog might not realize it's there. And no Overlord speed. Not going to be going for something like that. Nope. Lockdog with the first DT out. Try to find something he can pick off with that. And oh, nice by Lockdog to identify there was another Overlord out here. He'll be able to pick off that one as well, long before the Scourge get out. Although Lockdog has not had a scout since the very early game with that probe, so he is going to sacrifice scouting information, which against South Park can be quite dangerous, because if South Park had been planning on going for a Speedling bust at this time, he would be starting to mass up Speedlings, and the Corsairs would have caught that. So Lockdog taking a risk by not making sure that it's coming. A risk going to pay off though, because he'll catch the extra Overlord, and it won't cost him anything. Meanwhile, DT heading over to this base, but not only is there an Overlord there, but a Spore Colony as well. Sometimes the DT can take out a single Sunken, but that one's just a little bit too well hidden back there for the DT to take out, and it's just going to turn around. D2 should be able to get a pretty good scout off. So, Creep Colony is on the way. They're not going to have time to turn into Sunken Colonies, but at the same time, the Zerglings are going to be enough to stop a single DT. So nothing he really needs to worry about. Hydralisks are on the way as well. +1 almost done for the Corsairs, and he's continuing to make it. How much longer till +1? +1's actually significantly delayed for the Zealots. It's going to be a very late +1. Is Speed on the way? Okay, so Speed is going to be finished relatively soon, but he got +1 air weapons before he got +1 attack. A little bit interesting. Well, South Park's not going to have a huge number of Scourge out, so +1 Corsairs are going to have a really easy time of tearing through them, assuming that they're clumped up, but Lockdog has trapped a probe, so when he selects something like that, Corsairs is going to be pretty easy for him to keep all the Corsairs tightly knit, but one of them was a little bit far ahead, but South Park not paying quite close enough attention. Scourge are going to be taken out. There are some Hydralisks here in a Spore Colony. do a little bit of damage to the Corsairs. They could go in and probably pick off an Overlord too without taking any casualties, but it would be heavily damaged as a result. Instead, going to send in the Zealots. There are 2 Sunkens and, okay, there are a good number of Hydralisks. They are hiding up in this corner. It's going to be enough to turn away Lockdog's aggression. Lockdog does have a very large number of speed lots. This is a very Lockdog-esque attack, going out as soon as his late +1 finishes, but with 10, and oh, catching half of them all alone means that he's going to take a lot of damage on these, and they're having trouble deciding which direction they need to retreat from. He's going to lose a couple of them there. The other one's heavily injured, and these ones that were up top are just going to have to turn away as well. There is a DT, though, doing some good damage to these Hydralisks. Where's the Overlord? There's the Overlord. And there are more Overlords. And Dark Templar finally taken out. Drop on the way for South Park. And this is a pretty scary Hydralisk attack. 3 control groups or so coming in. There are a lot of High Templar, though. A lot of High Templar with Storm. I can select a target for the Storm. I'm not going to, though. It wouldn't do anything if I did, but it's just one of those things, like, if I was just like, aha, Storm here, and then killed off 4 High Templar, it would be like, that would completely ruin the game, and I feel really guilty, even though I know it won't happen. Drop getting pretty close to being done. Does he have Overlord speed? I assume he has Overlord speed. I'm trying to find a moving Overlord, but none of these forward units are Overlords. He's not getting his units into position to go for an immediate drop. It's actually going to engage them on the high ground here, but that's so many storms, there's no way those Hydralisks can win, even if there is a good spread on them. He does have Overlord speed now. Storm going down. Oh, South Park trying to dodge here, but he's going to lose a lot of Hydralisks. There were so many Dragoons behind that, along with the speed lots. South Park's army taken out, and Lockdog hardly lost anything now. Can assert aggression, pushing South Park's remaining units back. And I'm not sure how South Park plans on using that drop he got. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to use it a bit later in the game. Going for some crackling drops can be very strong on this map. Strong on any map, really. Anyway, Queen's Nest, as we saw, getting pretty close to done, and Hive will presumably be started immediately after that. Both players taking their mineral onlys. South Park's actually finished just a little while ago. The creep is still spreading. But it's going to be pretty hard for South Park to attack as long as Lockdog has this huge goon force out in the middle of the map. But once South Park gets cracklings, all of a sudden it's going to be very hard to defend it. The cracklings already have 2 armor, which means that the Dragoons are going to have a hard time killing them off as they rush in. And as long as they're getting some hits on the Dragoons, it's almost certainly worth it. Hive has started. Hive about 30% done. Now, Lockdog gearing up for another attack. Gonna go up and around, attack this 3rd base of South Park. Does not have the best of SimCities just because the space is not very SimCityable. There's no natural wall to help out with that. And there's a lot of units morphing in. Most of them are Overlords. I don't know how South Park's going to be able to defend against this, and it doesn't look like he wants to. Just going to go for the immediate counterattack. Go for a little bit of a base trade here. Just trading his 3rd away, probably will be able to take out the mineral only. Depending on how much Storm is left, but there is none. So, South Park should be able to take that out. Meanwhile, not even going to bother to try to defend this base. Goes down very quickly. Ooh, is that his only Hydralisk den? That is his only Hydralisk den. So, gonna be relying on those cracklings for a while at least. Lots more Sunkens coming in to try to defend this base. And if Crack won't quite finish in time, oh no. Oh, he's got some great storms off in the meantime. 5, 5, 11, and 2. Means that this trade did not work out for South Park the way he wanted it to, and he will not be taking out one of his bases. Now even bases with the Protoss still with a huge army bearing down on this mineral only. Crack is not done yet, so this engagement isn't going to be the best it possibly could be, but there's a lot of number. There we go, Crack now finishing, so these Zerglings are going to tear through so quickly. Storm's going down, but Storms are actually catching some of his own High Templar. And the Hydralisk's Zergling combination is going to be enough to do a lot of damage, not quite finishing it off, but it's enough to make it so the Sunken Colonies will be able to defend. And more Cracklings as they're rallying are just going to be able to continue to get more and more kills. Looks like he's now going to be forced to pull back with his few units remaining. So South Park is going to be able to hold, but at the same time, he didn't get this mineral only, and he needed to get that mineral only to make it all worth it. He does have Cracklings out now. Cracklings are going to give him some good opportunities here, specifically to stop this base. Going to be very hard for the Zealots to stand up against that. But he needs something a little bit more. Going for Ultralisk. 2 gas Ultralisk is just... It doesn't work out. You just don't get enough Ultralisks to matter. If you have that little gas, it's better to go for the Defilers, because you can make a lot more bang for your buck with so little of them. 3 Defilers obviously going to be a lot more effective than 3 Ultralisks. I don't like that decision from South Park. But Ultralisk armor getting pretty close to done here. Getting +2 attack, also pretty close. There is the first Ultralisks out. Okay, he's managed to get up to 5. He did have a pretty good gas reservoir, just considering that he never went for lurkers this game. So the only gas he's spent is on a little bit of Scourge upgrades and Hydralisks. Okay, he's gonna have a nice number of Ultralisks, but he'll never be able to replenish the Ultralisks, so he needs to be very, very careful about how he uses them. And if he gets in a bad engagement and all of these Archons and High Templar and Zealots do a lot of damage to the Ultralisks, it could be game over immediately. Well, players getting pretty close to mined out at some of the original bases. Lockdog has just the mineral only and this expansion mining. South Park still has 3 bases mining, but it won't be 3 for very long, as his natural and main are getting pretty close, leaving him with just the mineral only. Should be trying to re-expand here. Indeed he is, very soon. But Lockdog is gearing up for another attack in that direction, and he really is powerless to stop it. Ooh, and Lockdog's actually going to take this base, taking a pretty fast 5th. He doesn't really have a need to take a 5th, but he's in a position where there's nothing is going to be hard for South Park to stop him. South Park moving across the map with his large number of Ultra Ling. Actually dividing it up a little bit. He sent them all down to take care of that base that's warping in, taking 2 diverging paths. And this base will once again stop that expansion. Drone was killed off. And it's a similar situation, pretty similar to how we had it last time, where South Park's in a position to attack this base again. But he's not going to take that opportunity, instead backing off. Again, he needs to be very, very careful about how he uses these Ultralisks, because the Ultralisks are pretty much the only thing that's keeping him in this game at this point. This very, very scary force. I'm surprised he doesn't have more Cracklings, though. He does have a good amount of money and a good number of hatcheries. The ratio is a little bit off here, so it's slightly on the Ultralisk heavy side. Is he picking up units? I thought I heard the pickup sound. No, he really doesn't need to. Oh, he is. I just can't see in Overlords. Okay. So, picking up an Ultralisk and dropping it over, do damage a little bit quicker. And South Park will counter Lockdog's stopping of his expansion with a stop of his own. But South Park's getting so close to mined out at these two bases, and once he does, he'll only have a mineral only. A horribly mannered mineral only, I might add. Look at that. Look at that drone go all the way around. Haha, I didn't notice that at first. Anyway, continuing to take out some of the spare units. Lockdog is left around the map to slow down expansion. And, oh man, that's such a scary army. That is such a scary army to have to deal with. He will once again be shutting down this. Lockdog needs an, excuse me, South Park needs an amazing engagement here. He slowly worked his way up to 135 supply, and here it comes. This might be the engagement now. Some storms going down, but hitting some... Oh, very nice. They're the nice storms. And the Ultras are coming in. There are so many Ultralisks here, but no Cracklings to support. I said before that this army wasn't properly balanced, but the Ultralisk just might be enough. He doesn't even need the Crackling. Crackling now streaming in from the back, and South Park's actually going to be able to win that battle. Very, not that nicely. He does lose half of his Ultralisks, and normally where Zerg is able to replenish immediately, South Park cannot replenish those Ultralisks. Those Ultralisks are gone, and the ones he has left are damaged, so he did manage to take out Lockdog's army, and that is a good thing, but he needs, but it's not as good as it would be in other situations, and now he really needs to expand. Because he's taken out Lockdog's army. A lot of Lockdog's 135 supply is caught up in probes, considering just how saturated he is at his bases. He needs to take this opportunity to expand and to get up solid expansions. Looks like that's what he's doing here, trying to expand. I would even think about going for a double expand, just to try to get something out there before you run out of money here and here. Going in for a drop though, that's... Man, that is a gutsy move, going in for a drop at this point in the game. He doesn't have that much left, but at the same time he knows he kills off Lockdog's army. Lockdog won't have the huge response to it. How quickly can he react? It's not that quick of a reaction. A lot of these gateways are going down, but at the same time, some of these gateways are going to go down, but it's not that huge of an issue. Lockdog doesn't have the best of economy, so he couldn't even use those gateways. So no real damage was done, but losing 4 Ultralisks is quite costly. Lockdog actually needs to be thinking about taking another base himself, as that mineral only is getting pretty close to mined out. Then he will only have this one with lots of cannons. Oh man, I don't like that drop. That's such a risky play. I think South Park with that engagement had gotten himself just the window he needed to try to work his way back in an economic way, rather than go for the Hail Mary Doom drop. But those 4 Ultralisks would be so much more helpful right now. 4 extra Ultralisks with this army would be so nice right now. Oh, look at that manor. That's such a good manor. I didn't even know that Sunken was drone tight. Well, looks like Lockdog's moving out his army over to this corner, taking out some Zerglings. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a probe near behind. There it is. Probe coming down to expand here once again. Going to try to split the map as South Park takes this expansion, but needs to be careful as these Ultralisks are coming in and hitting a line of units. Shuttle with a Reaver in it is going to try to pick up the other Reaver, saves it from going down. Going down here, but no, he's dropping the Reavers. I don't know why he's dropping the Reavers. There was not enough units to tank shots for him, and he's going to lose one of them. I think he only got 1 Scarab off. A lot of the Zerglings have gone down because South Park's army is still Ultralisk heavy. But now he's going to back off. That was the proper time to drop the Reaver when they were a little bit farther away. But an okay engagement for South Park. Nothing big on either side. Actually working down the supply lead. Only about a 20 supply lead for Lockdog at this point. Wow, South Park is working his way back in from being a base behind for a very, very long time. And it took him a while, but he has recovered a pretty sizable Ultralisk Ling army. I still don't like how few Lings he has, considering that it's not as if he's completely broke. He still does have a good amount of money left over. But where's he going to go with it? Going this way? Oh, taking out those probes would be nice, but at the same time, this expansion's already mined out. The expansion's mined out. I don't know. The probes are being transferred away. Well, he's not going to lose that much in taking out the cannons. It's going to be a little bit costly. But most of the probes are able to get out of there. This base now has like 4 bases worth of saturation at it. And he will be taking out that Nexus. Meanwhile, over at this side, the few Lings guarding it taken out, and Speedlots will be working down that hatchery. Does Lockdog doesn't have upgrades? Lockdog doesn't have shield upgrades? Why'd you not get armor upgrades? I mean, you're not even working on it. I don't know what's up with that. That might certainly be helping out with these engagements, allowing those cracklings to do a lot more damage. Considering that the armor upgrades, like, they have 7 attack, so you're reducing the damage that those Zerglings can do by 1/7. Actually, they already have 1 native armor, so they're only doing 6 a shot. -1 is 5. Taking away 1/6 of total attacking power is quite strong. I'm really surprised, unless he thinks he's going for an Archon, unless he like knew preemptively he was going for some kind of Archon-based army, but is able to snipe this again. South Park only on a single base. Oh, this one wasn't quite taken out. DT's trying to come in to snipe it, but Zerglings are there. The DT only needs to get off 1 or 2 hits, but no, that hatchery is going to live just a little longer. There is a Reaver and a shuttle though, so that could help it out. Take that out. Actually, morphing it into a lair, giving it a little bit extra health. Just fearful of a very quick drop. South Park has so many Ultralisks, considering he only has 130 supply. It's like 130 supply and half of it is Ultralisks. How many Ultralisks? There is more than a control group of Ultralisks. So yeah, that's more than 50 supply in Ultralisks. Oh man. Oh, is he doom dropping? It's not really a doom drop, but he's threatening it. The observer sees it. I don't think that's a good idea, though. That base is looking very secure. Why South Park has not gotten a Defiler mount, I do not know. He did, in fact, come in with a couple of Reavers to take that out, so morphing in the lair did not save it. Oh. No, don't do it, South Park! Oh no, South Park! South Park's going in to try and take out this base, but there's so many cannons and Reavers and Storm. Is it really gonna work? There's a transfer. Oh, the probes caught in the Storm. But these Archons are doing a great job of bottlenecking it, and the cannons are doing a lot of damage from behind. The Reavers are doing so much splash damage as well. The Ultralisks have finally broken through the Archons, and he will in fact take out this base. It cost him a lot to get through. There were so many Ultralisks that died, but taking out one of Lockdog's last mining bases might just be worth it. A couple extra Reavers coming in to attack the Ultralisks and do some more damage. I guess it will be worth it. Oh man, it looks like all the Ultralisks are going to be taken out though. Is Lockdog still mining here? Lockdog is still mining here, but with very few probes. He doesn't have. Okay, he does have enough money for a Nexus. He needs to throw that down immediately. South Park committed everything to taking out that expansion. He now has 61 supply. He lost more than half of his supply in that attack, and it kind of worked. He did take out the Nexus, but it was just a temporary thing. Did he really feel that desperate? he didn't feel that if he had just stayed, I think if he stayed back, did a little bit better job defending his own 2 expansions with that huge Ultralisk force and played it like defensive Ultralisk style, it might have worked out better for him. And going for that attack was just going to lose so much, especially without Defilers. If he had Defilers, different story. Totally different story, but he didn't have Defilers. Oh man. He should really like killed off the sunken colony so that he stops mannering himself. He should have killed off that sunken colony a while ago. 4 there is plenty. South Park. South Park got so close. It's so close to bringing it back. It was like Tide Supply. And then this choke happened. This choke happened. Oh man, there's no way he can attack it again. He'll never have enough. Trying to stop Reaver harass here. Speed shuttle is being rather annoying. Just gonna slow walk the Reaver in. That's cool. Oh, really? Oh man, just barely not losing it. Oh, but the Scourge coming in. The Scourge are coming in. Doing a good job of dodging them so far. Is there a Sun Colony? Oh, there's a Spore Colony here, but the Spore Colony doesn't quite reach. Getting off a Scarab. That Scarab could actually do a lot of damage considering. Oh, nope, nope, does nothing. Oh, that was a nice hit though. That was also a nice hit. Okay. Doing some good damage with that Reaver. Yeah, there's no way he can take out this base. So, he has to play a game where he is on 2 mining bases compared to 1. It's like he's not completely out of it. He'd be feeling a lot better if he didn't throw away 80 supply in that last attack. But he's not out of it. Connection to BattleNet has been lost. This game is too intense for BattleNet to even handle. Just dropped it. Oh man, South Park needs to play this so smart. He can do it. There is a way to come back and win this. He just needs to not throw away Ultralisks. He needs to treasure these Ultralisks. Going in for another attack and stopping this expansion, not the worst thing. South Park can afford to let that just die. Should cancel it though. Okay, he can't afford to let it die. Just cancel it. Just cancel it. Just cancel it. There we go. Oh man, he's actually getting kind of close to mining out here. And he's getting close to mining out here. Oh man. Oh man, he is working his way back up. He was behind by like 70 supply, now only behind by 40 supply. Being behind by 40 supply, not the worst thing in the world versus the Protoss. That's not unwinnable. He really should have Defilers though. Don't know why the hell South Park hates Defilers. I don't know why Zergs in general hate Defilers. They like fail to realize how freaking unfair Defilers are. Oh, Storm Drop. Storm Drop on the probes. Oversaturated base. Oh, could have been worse. Oh, never mind. Never mind, that couldn't have been much worse. Oh, I think that was at least 7, possibly more. South Park, you're gonna go for an attack? South Park's gonna go for an attack. It's a Speedling run by. See, it's all. It doesn't matter. There is no point in the game where you are safe from a South Park speedling run by. Even 35 minutes in, they just happen. Oh, and he's gonna be able to. Okay, this is it. This is a Hail Mary play from South Park here. If he does not kill off all of the gateways and all of the tech, he can't win because he's going to lose this base because his army's so out of position. I don't know if this trade is going to be worth it. You're losing your only mining base. Well, this one's still yeah, this one's almost out. You don't have a huge bank. You need South Park went for the Hail Mary play and it's not going to work out for him. Shuttle with Reavers in it. There's a good number of cannons here because he was fearful of the Doom drop. And only handful of Ultralists are going to be able to come out of that. But South Park with 400 minerals still left to be mined. And Lockdog's taking this base. It's over. It's over. Oh, man. Good game by good game by Lockdog. You played it really solidly, and that can be hard to just constantly not make mistakes in such a long game. South Park, there were some questionable decisions, but that was South Park's style. It almost worked out for him. He's still got a huge pack of Ultralisks, but he's going to go for another attack on this, and it's just not going to work out, because there are 4 Reavers, and no Swarm. Yeah. And even if he just ignored this and doesn't attack it, he allowed Lockdog to take that base, and because Lockdog has an extra base, Storm going down. And because Lockdog has that base, he can't try to play that defensive Ultralist style that I was trying to argue for earlier. It's too late in the game to do that, because your opponent has the 2 best saturated bases left on the map. This one's the only one left. He's going to try to take it to get the extra 1,500 minerals there. But it's constantly not safe. Still, he's managed to like come back, rebuild the army he lost. He's still at about 100 with his opponent about at 135, but it's a deceptive 150 now because it's a 150 with, look at how expensive those units are. The Dark Templars, the High Templars, the Archons, the Reavers. It's not a 150 made out of Zealots and Goons. Certainly not. And okay, gonna catch some DTs here, doing a little bit of damage. But here comes the rest of the army. South Park needs to pull back and consolidate his forces, yet kind of fragment his forces so they don't get stormed. Well, he is remining at this base now, if nothing else. But Lockdog looks like he's getting into position to stop that. He is slow walking 4 Reavers over, as opposed to fast walking, I guess. Slow walking really doesn't make a sense. Kind of scooting. Is that a scoot? Anyway. Does Lockdog actually have enough to break through this without the Reavers? The Reavers are just a little bit late. Oh, such good storms. Such good storms. Yeah. A lot of those Ultralists were injured before the fight. They're going to keep pushing up with the Reavers in the back. He almost managed to take out that fight, but the Reavers in the back were just too much for him to handle. Some units coming up. They might be able to get one of the Reavers if he's lucky. Nope. Didn't even get a 1. And South Park will once again lose this base. And South Park, GG's. Sass Lockdog tying it back up 2-2 in quite the game. Alright, I'm logged out. Seriously though, he should have gotten Defilers. Like, Defilers are so good. Why do Zergs not believe me when I try to tell them about the unfairness that is Defilers? Oh, whoops. That's not how you spell AWA. Alright. So hopefully I didn't miss the shout out of who's coming out next. Nope, I did not. Alright. Holy shit. Apparently it's going to be a good matchup. That's a pretty good matchup. Alright. Alright. Zeke versus Snitzel. Arguably the best from both teams. Well, Zeke's certainly not arguable, but Snitzel, arguably the best from GT. ERT. Alright. ERT. Zeke. I need to be Terran versus GT Sneasel. Alright. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Alright. So, top right, we have Snitzel as the blue Protoss. In the bottom right, we have Zeke as the brown Terran. Let me take care of destroying my SCVs and whatnot. Oh, that's not a good place to hide my CC. Is there a good place for me to hide my CC on this map? Okay, that's a good place to hide the SCV. I guess this isn't a bad place to hide the CC. I mean, typically you try to hide it in like ungoable terrain, but there's no reason to ever go back here, unless like Zeke expands here and then Snitzel's trying to be fancy and storm drop from up here. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Actually, hopefully that does happen. That sounds like a pretty awesome game where Zeke expands here cross map and Snitzel storm drops. But it'd be easier to storm drop from here anyway, so I won't be blocking it. Alright. So, Snitzel versus Zeke. Now, Snitzel's really good. And his versus Zerg specifically is really good. But Zeke's like 3 notches above really good. And his versus Protoss is like 3 notches above really good. Because Snitzel is one of the best PvZ players Foreign Brood War has. 1 in 10 versus Zeke. I'm not making that up. He is 1 in 10 versus Zeke. Zeke is so disgustingly good versus Protoss, he just does not lose. He just does not lose. Did he get scout off? Yeah, okay. He will be scouting off Zeke first. And, I think he actually threw down those cannons before he got into the base. No, he must have seen that. He scouted out the 9 pool and got 2 cannons down preemptively. And those will be up with plenty of time to defend against the 9 pool. Or overpool? It was an overpool. My bad. So, yeah, it was an overpool, and not only was it an overpool, but Zeke didn't even build 6 links, but doing a little bit of a fake out there, and instead just building 1 set with 1 there, and then 1 coming over here to look for proxy cannons. But by doing that, he did force those 2 preemptive cannons. So he sacrificed his economy a bit to do that, but Schnitzel may or may not have sacrificed more. Pretty even overall. Oh. Mistake from Schnitzel, allowing that probe to die to just a single ling without speed being even started. That's a shame. It's a little bit odd that Zeke went for the far away natural before his closer natural. I don't think the probe was blocking it. That's normally what you do when the probe throws down a mana pylon. I guess Zeke was just afraid that the mana pylon could have been thrown down. Oops. Little bit of a mistake there from Zeke, allowing that Overlord to fly somewhat too close, but backed it off. Well, I did talk about how godlike Zeke is in ZVP and their previous record, but of Protosses, other than maybe a super cheesy style like Oya, I think Schnitzel has the best style to try to counter Zeke, because if there was a weakness in Zeke's ZVP play, it's that he doesn't necessarily storm dodge terribly well, and he has a tendency to clump up his lurkers a little bit too much. In most games it doesn't matter because his macro is ridiculous and he just replaces the 5 lurkers you killed with another 8, but it's not always the most ideal thing to do. And compare that to Schnitzel, whose best strength in PvZ is his storms. Specifically storm drops, but also just traditional storms in battles. So, if there was a straight up style I had to pick to try to combat Zeke, I'd want one that involved early storms and lots of well placed ones. And Schnitzel looks like he might be going for something like that. He did not get a Stargate. Actually, he might not be going for Templars at all. He did not get a Stargate, getting a Citadel, and he's going to go for a very fast +1 timing. As fast as it can be by skipping that. Zeke threatening with some speedlings here, but he won't be able to do anything. If he goes in, he certainly won't be able... Oh, nice move by Zeke. He comes in, he sees those zealots. He has to know that something's weird now, as he saw 6 zealots this early. So he should know that some kind of weird attack is coming, even though he doesn't have an Overlord in position. Very nice by Zeke. I think just based on the fact that he hadn't seen a Corsair yet, he was a little bit suspicious of what was going on. But now here comes the Zealots. Zeke had a little bit of a forewarning to defend, and it was enough time to at least get those creep colonies on the way. Drone, looks like he's threatening to build another one. I think he's going to need another one. This is a lot of speed loss this early. 8 with no Hydralisk support. That is a very nice SimCity. No, Snow's going to back off. He's going to go over to this side, but this side has just, well, not quite as nice of one. but still pretty nice. SimCity, not as many Zerglings, but because he has Zerglings, Speedlings chasing him, he's going to have to worry about that if he goes in. He might as well have Zerglings here. Oh, trying to get some snipes off on a Zealot doesn't quite work out for him. And alright. Players feigning a little bit of aggression there. If either player obviously the Zealots should be favored in that battle, but if getting a message, okay. Obviously Zealots are going to win that engagement, but if Zeke can get a nice surround, he'll be able to do some damage. And oh, Zeke scouts out the Dragoons. That was the next stage of Schnitzel's attack, as he already has Goon range finish. We saw that start earlier. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Zeke early. I'm really surprised that Zeke's only going for 2 Sunken Colonies. It's so little to try to handle that much. He does have a good number of Hydralisks behind it. Hydralisks are pretty good in the situation. Range has a bit of a ways to go. Speed already done. And gonna try to go for a little bit of snipes here while the Dragoons are focusing on the hatchery, but now pulling back. And here comes a huge attack from Schnitzel, even bringing in a probe. I think that's an accident, unless he's gonna proxy something. Units coming in from the back though to attack the Dragoons. The Dragoons are a little bit soft, so by not having to fight the Zealots, he can do some good damage here to the units that are actually doing more damage to him. Most of the Zealots have gone down now. I think that was Scourge. Is that Scourge I heard? I'm not sure. Drones being pulled to try to attack the Dragoons now. One of them is going to be caught in, but more Zerglings coming out, and it's close. The Zealots have gone down, so the Dragoons are very vulnerable, but at the same time, the range is just going to help out so much versus the drones. So the drones are going to be forced back once again, and Schnitzel's stepping forward now. He's bringing goons into the natural. There's not many Zerglings left. Zeke needs more Zerglings to deal with these goons. Another one goes down, and more Zerglings coming in for the back, but just a few. Schnitzel can micro against them relatively well. Speed does make that harder, but not hard enough. Schnitzel's bringing in more Zealots. He needs those Zealots. The Zealots are more important than the Dragoons right now, just to try to tank shots and keep things away from the Dragoons. And now, once again, Zeke's going to be forced back. He's lost that front hatchery. He's lost those Sunken Colonies that would really help him defend here. And now, there's so much damage being done to drones at this point because of the multiple drone drills. And these speedlots are now pushing up the ramp. The speedlots have actually broken the ramp. They could go up, but no, going to come back down to try to protect the Dragoons. There's only one Dragoon left. The last Dragoon goes down, and only speedlots are left. And that means that this is much less scary of an attack. Very good micro from both players, but Zeke is just barely going to be able to hold on in that engagement. Lurker upgrade started now. Wow. Zeke, it's like, it turns out that Zeke did not in fact need a 3rd Sunken Colony, but if he had a 3rd Sunken Colony, it would have helped him out so much there. I think Zeke should have gotten another one. Zeke is going to be able to turn the pressure right back around, but he doesn't have Overlord speed, and excuse me, it doesn't have Overlord speed, and DTs are on the way, so Zeke won't be able to actually get any aggression done here. So, a couple Zealots going down. Yeah. Yep. Getting those drones back mining. Taking out that hatchery was nice. Taking out all the drones were nice, but consider that Schnitzel sacrificed some tech and sacrificed some economy. He did have to cut probes for that kind of an attack. So it's not quite as cut and dry that Schnitzel came out fabulously ahead in that. It was to his advantage considering how many drones he killed, but it wasn't super huge. Lurker upgrade has now finished on this Hydralisk den. And now Zeke's going to be making his first Lurkers, but Observers are already out for Schnitzel. Schnitzel with a very fast Observer upgrade, so he's going to be able to put pressure. He's going to be able to continue to go for the pressure, and now he has Storms. Storm already researched. Oh boy, it's going to be a scary attack once again. Zeke's going to have to. This is going to be very hard for Zeke to dodge Storms in this type of situation. Oh, where's the Observer? There's the Observer. Observer's just a little bit behind. Oh, Lurker. Free Lurker. Is he going to catch it? Is he going to catch it? No, 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 he's just going to let it walk by. Okay. That's cool. Alright, Stitzel going around the long way just so he doesn't have to deal with the double bridges. The double bridges could be a little bit problematic. It looks like this Lurker is going to try to stop the expansion from going down. There's not an Observer over there, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to clean that up. But now Schnitzel's back in position once again. Just non-stop aggression, and Zeke's trying to back up his Hydros a little bit, taking some damage at first. Oh, but putting that Sunken Colony so far forward, it's not really going to be protected by the wall. Oh, gets the Dark Templar. There's still so many High Templar to get storms off, but he's not storming the Lurkers. He's just going after the Hydralisks. So he's going to have to use Dragoons to take out the Lurkers. And oh, Zealot's getting caught. That was a mistake. Oh, Storm going down. Oh, nice Storms taking out a lot of those Hydralisks. Again, though, not focusing at all on the Lurkers. I think this is the only Lurker that's been hit by Storm so far. And where's the Observer? There's the Observer. Okay. Observer's hidden. But now marching forward, the Dragoons do a good enough job. He is, no, he's not out of Storm. This one still has 2 Storms left. He's managed to conserve his Storm rather well, and this one with a 3rd. So there's still a good amount of Storm here. There's now an Archon to really help defend against those Zerglings, which were the problem he had last time. And now, Zeke might not be able to defend this time around. Oh, Storm going down, killing off a bunch of the drones, but he is certainly going to lose his hatchery, certainly going to lose his Hydralisk den, and now it really is just a bunch of Zerglings to try to defend. Zeke might lose this here. Spitzel with a beautiful, beautiful attack. He's coming down now, taking out the last remaining Hydralisk there. GG from Zeke! Schnitzel with the huge upset takes out Zeke and puts GT ahead 3-2 with only needing one more game. Wow. Wow. Who's left? Michael versus Araki? Are those the only players left? I think they might be. Where's Araki? Oh, there's Araki. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just going... I think those are the only 2 players we have left. Alright, it is in fact Michael versus Araki. Mike 1. Mike 1. Uh-oh. Not a good sign. Oh. Alright. Looks like we'll try that again. Michael's not back in the channel. Did he make it really fast? Oh, he did remake it really fast, apparently. Alright. So, Sass Zaraki versus GT's Michael. In the bottom right, we have Zaraki as the red Zerg. Right? Yep, Zaraki is the red Zerg. In the bottom left, we have Michael as the purple Zerg. So it's ZVZ to decide this series. If Michael wins, GT will win 4-2. If Michael loses, Zaraki has tied it up and will force an ace match, which is going to be really good. Because I would expect Schnitzel versus Zeke rematch. That would be great. Alright. So, Zaraki scouting in the correct direction, Michael scouting in the wrong direction. Both players, though, not scouting towards the natural. Which is weird. The closer natural for Zaraki would be up, the closer natural for Michael would be right. But, interesting. Alright. Well, we'll have to see what both players are going to do. Michael going for a 12 hatch. Zaraki going for the 12 pool. Michael's slightly faster hatchery going to be a benefit to him. Yeah. Assuming Michael is pretty good with his Zergling micro, which he has been known to be a pretty good player. He shouldn't have a problem dealing with Zaraki's earlier lings. And as long as he doesn't lose too many drones, it's going to work out pretty nicely for him. Zaraki will be getting the scout off first, obviously. His Overlord getting very close now. And he's going to eventually see that the spawning pool is, the health of the spawning pool is significantly lower than his own. It probably won't, will it hatch? No, it won't hatch by the time the Overlord gets there. Actually, it's going to be pretty close. The timing for the Lings actually getting there. They're going to have an opportunity to wail away a little bit at the hatchery because the spawning pool is just finishing now. And Michael only started 2 Zerglings. So Zaraki's got an opportunity here to do some damage. The important thing for Michael is to not overreact, to not throw away too many drones trying to defend it. He needs to remember that it's a 12 hatch versus a 12 pool, so the drone numbers are pretty similar. He just needs to not... It's okay to allow the hatchery to take some damage, just as long as it doesn't die. Anyway, Michael's Lings are out in time. But Zaraki's speed should be faster if he wants, if he did want to go for speed first. He did not, though. So it's only going to be very slightly faster. I got another message I gotta look at. Okay. Apparently AWA will be, giving me an announcement for MVP, at the end of the cast. So look forward as to who that is. Anyway, Zaraki decided not to go in. He realized that if he didn't have anything immediately, the faster hatchery was going to mean that Michael could get out more Lings, so it really wasn't worth sticking around. He's just going to pull back now. Lair is done Spire at just over 200 health, compared to Michael's Spire, which is 190 now. So a little bit of an advantage for Zaraki in that respect, but not going to be an advantage that he could really capitalize on in any way. Actually going to be forced to build a creep colony here, afraid of Michael's large Ling count at this point. Both players do have speed. Now Zaraki needs to be careful to play it patiently. He'll try to buy enough time for that sunken colony to finish, but he doesn't want to let that hatchery die or take too many hits. It starts to get a little bit risky if you let it go below half health, just because it's easy for him to come back later and snipe it. And it looks like Michael's just going to back off, realizing that the sunken colony was going to make it pretty difficult to deal with. Sun Colony, though, isn't terribly effective in ZVZ. Just because it takes 2 hits to kill a single Zergling, and the hits are relatively slow. But at the same time, it's a lot of health to deal with, and the ranged attack really helps out. So, unless he had a significantly larger number of Lings, it really wasn't going to be worth it. Both players' Spires are done. 3 Mutalisks on the way for Michael. Zaraki not building Mutalisks? Oh, he's supply blocked. Oh, Zaraki making a mistake there. His Mutalisks are actually going to be much later, and he's not even going to go for Mutalisks. He's going to go for Scourge immediately. I don't know if he wanted to go for Mutalisks. He had enough minerals to get some, but a mistake from his part, allowing himself to be supply blocked. Michael's Mutalisks are out now, making Zergling attacks significantly harder. Zaraki's going to have to pull back, because Mutalisks do a lot of damage to packs of Zerglings. And does he have defense for it? I think the only defense he has is Scourge. Michael does have 4 Mutalisks, so he can micro him down if he's paying close enough attention. No! Gets 1 hit. Gets 1 hit. Oh, there's only 3 Mutalisks. Oh, Michael! Michael, what are you doing? That's not what you want to do. So Michael's Mutalisk count going to be reset. He is making more now. Is either player going to go for upgrades quickly? No. Another player going for quick upgrades. Because Zaraki started his Mutalisk production a little bit later, he doesn't really have a terrible advantage. It's going to be rather similar for both players. I believe both are at 4 right now. Yeah, both are at 4 right now. Well, this is the really tense time. Mutalisks are out, so you don't have that Overlord scouting advantage, and you don't really know what your opponent's doing. You don't feel terribly comfortable in moving out. You can send in Zergling scouts like that, but really didn't see much. Could see general Mutalisk count. Oh, there's Scourge in there. You just cannot see those Scourge. Huh. Anyway, you can see general Mutalisk count. You can see that he's mining gas, but that was all that the Zerglings could see. You're just kind of guessing. Don't feel comfortable moving out. At the same time, certainly don't feel comfortable expanding, but don't really feel comfortable doing anything that's not building more Mutalisks or Zerglings. Both players do have 2 gases though, so they can pump out a pretty heavy number of Mutalisks. Might go with a small supply lead at the moment, just 3. But 3 in a ZVZ can turn out to be quite substantial. Both players are trying to get big enough flocks that you really have to start considering to yourself, do I want to get +1 armor? Because +1 armor is going to make such a big difference by the time it finishes. The only thing you have to worry about is sacrificing that much gas into an upgrade that won't actually come into play because the game's going to end quickly. Oh. Managing to take out the Scourge, nice, not going to take any more hits. And here comes the engagement. It's going to be of pretty even numbers. 10 versus 7 it looks like. So Michael, with the advantage now, going to force Zaraki to pull back. He realizes he has less. And how many does Michael still has 10 left with Scourge. So Michael with double the amount of Mutalisks. A Scourge on the way. Yeah, Zaraki just started Scourge. He needs to micro down those ones. Okay, he could not afford to take any hits, but he is going to lose a lot of drones here. Now I'm going to go back to micro, but he still has he was at a deficit. It's now pretty even again because he got some Scourge hits. It's going to be really close either way. The Zerglings are coming in to try to attract a little bit of splash fire, but no, Zaraki's Mutalisks were already injured, so Michael's going to win that fight still with 8 Mutalisks. He did not lose nearly any Mutalisks in that engagement. They're all very badly injured, but that doesn't matter. Michael has so many, and Zaraki's GG's. Oh, 1 Mutalisk engagement, and that is it. Michael has won. Michael takes it 4-2 for GT, and GT just barely edging out SAS over the 3 days. Well, Congratulations to Michael. Congratulations to the rest of GT. A very talented team. Obviously, they were first place for the regular season standings, and they managed to clutch it out and take the finals. And they will win the $900. The $900 provided by Twitch TV, Nerbopolis, and Prowler. Just going to make my last chance to thank Twitch TV, but thank you very much to our sponsors for providing this league. It's been a very, very long process of nearly 3 months. Lots of good games along the way, and a very good final series to cap it off. Nice. Is AWA going to send me something? AWA, I think, is working in the realm of 30-second delay. Okay. MVP is going to be Schnitzel. For obvious reasons. Because, kind of, yeah. Yeah. Beating Zeke. It's hard to say you're not MVP. It's kind of like how when Bisu, like, only beat one person in that Winners League finals, but it was Flash, so he's like, yeah, you're clearly MVP. It's like that. But he also went 3 and 4 in playoffs, which is pretty impressive. So, congratulations to him. Good stuff. I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that A1 needs me to say before I sign off. ISL round of 32 starts next week. I've seen the matchups, and there's some really good matchups that me and Elegant will be casting on Saturday. So be sure not to miss that. But I think that's it. Alright. Look out for Gambit Cup 3. Look out for Gambit Cup 3. Bye, everybody.